What's going on, fam? My name is Powerbang. Welcome to today's PUBG Mobile video. And guys, I've got a hypothesis for you today. It may be popular, it may be unpopular, I don't know, but I want to tell you guys what I'm thinking about the new scopes in version 0.7.0. They just came out. That is the 3-time scope and the 6-time scopes. I'm here to tell you today that I think the new scopes are better overall than the old scopes in most setups, and I'm gonna show you why right now. It is time for today's Lucky Gun Skin winner of the day. We are pulling the name from the hat, and it is Akdas Mirza. What's up, man? Thank you so much for being early to the video. Lannister Boom is the in-game name. He says, love your gameplay, BB. As always, dude, thank you so much for being here. Guys, if you want to get your gun skin, make sure you're early to the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave your in-game name in the comments. This is Powerbang. Enjoy the video. All right, guys, so it's time to look at the scopes. We're going to be first examining some of the older scopes, and I'm going to be looking at the kind of the common walk-around loadout for a lot of players, which is an AR and a sniper rifle. This is something that is commonly seen, and this is my preferred loadout as well, so that's another reason I'm going to focus on it, just because I feel like I've got a lot of experience using these weapon systems, like in actual matches. So starting out, we're going to use the M4 for a representation of an AR, and I've also got an M24 for like a, a standard bolt action sniper rifle. It's a little souped up Car 98, but it's magazine fed rather than clip fed. So we've got ourselves a M4, and I'm rocking right now, as far as the attachments are concerned, I've got quick mags on both of the guns that we're using. I've got stocks on both of them. I've got a vertical foregrip for the M4, which in my opinion is the best overall grip right now in the game after the 0.7 update. I'll talk more about grips this week in a video. I will be comparing every single grip in the game, what the particular use case for each is, and then also comparing them side by side to let you guys know which one you should walk around with. Now, spoiler alert, vertical foregrip. Hold on to that one. And then I've also got suppressors on each of these weapons because I didn't want to fully compensate for all of the recoil that you might be looking at. And suppressors are kind of like the best muzzle attachment, I guess you would say, for most weapons because stealth is so key in this game. Compensators are the next best, which is a recoil control mechanism. So let's get into it, guys. 2x scope, though, on the M4. We're going to take a look at, I'm over here because these guys are so freaking loud. It's crazy. So here's the 2x. We're going to go ahead and check the recoil here. And it's pretty good, right? I can, control that not too shabby at all. We'll put a couple mags on into that target, and overall, not bad recoil control, but the group isn't super tight, but at least all of them are kind of landing center mass on the target. Now let's take a look at a 4x scope, right? This is kind of the option that would be the next step up in magnification in the old system. Let's go ahead and look at the recoil in that, and it's a little bit harder to control, which it should be if you're given that extra magnification at full auto. But again, not too shabby, right? Just a little bit harder to keep it on target, though. 4x, not too shabby on the recoil, but you're probably better off in shorter bursts like this. So that's kind of how I would recommend firing with the 4x scope. But let's take a look at the 3x scope here, and I'll show you guys what I like about this one. You get that extra magnification, right? And the actual recoil control is way closer to the 2x. I actually compensated too much and dragged it down too far at the start. But it is really good at recoil control, and that's something that I've really noticed with this particular weapon. And if you're even going for headshots, you can, go up top. And I mean, look at that. That's insane. So much better magnification here, it feels like, than the 2x. The other thing that I really like about this on an AR, let's go ahead and take a look at the reticles and we'll actually compare these. First, you've got minimal magnification here, it's just 2x, and then you've got the circle reticle with the dot in the middle. Now the dot is kind of where you want to put it, but for me that circle is close enough to the dot that it actually obstructs a little bit of your vision. So if I wanted to put my, reticle on this target out here, even though it's only like, I don't know, 80 to 100 meters away, it still kind of obstructs a little bit. Whereas with the 3x scope, you can see there's very little obstruction at all. I mean, I can see everything that's there, and you just put that crosshair right on the target, and it's really, really nice. That's something that I like about this scope a lot. And again, recoil control, actually, let's aim at the big target since that little one goes away. You can put a lot of shots on target. Full auto. That was the full clip, and I landed probably 25 or, so on the actual target there. Now, you got a little bit squirrely on that one, but for the most part, you're not going to be firing full auto at that range. But just the fact that you can land most of the bullets, really, really impressive from the 3x scope. And again, 4X, again, has the magnification here, but a lot of hashes in the way, and I never really liked that arrow on the end as far as the reticle. Like, where do you put the arrow? Do you put that, like, the tip of it on the target? Do you put the I mean, I know where to put it. I'm just saying it's not as obvious as a crosshair, right? The arrow, for me, is not as good of a reticle. Definitely prefer the 3X reticle, so definitely for me, the winner of these 3 scopes at close to mid-range is the 3X scope. Couple of other things to talk about with these particular scopes. We'll look at the 2X. When you zoom in, you can see your peripheral vision, right? Like I can see over here when I'm zoomed in at this target, no problem. I can see the targets over here to my left, no problem. It's very, very easy to see your peripheral vision with a 2x scope. And the other thing, when you're running around with it like in first person, the 2x scope is fairly large as far as like getting in your way. If you look at it, it's a pretty bulky scope for the amount of magnification that it provides. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 3x. First of all, let's look at the actual scope itself. It's smaller than the 2x scope and actually gets away in your vision, in your line of sight, gets in the way less than the 2x does, but it also magnifies more. Now, when you're zoomed in, you are further zoomed, but you can still see your peripheral very easily, and that's actually really nice. Now, the 4x scope is even smaller than the 3x and the 2x, so that's actually even easier to see when you're running in first person. But when you zoom in, less of your peripheral is seen. It has I guess the bezels on your scope are actually fairly wide, so it's a little bit harder to see your surroundings, but still much better than something like an 8x scope. Much better overall than that. So I still like the 3x in because of the overall capacity that it gives you to fire and put shots down range. You can shoot really far out there with the 3x and pretty accurately too. Let's go ahead and run out to the center of the range here, and we can like put our sight down range here and look at those targets out here. I mean, you can literally just reach out and touch people at really any distance. I mean, the 3x scope is very accurate, and you can knock all these guys down no problem. So yeah, big fan, I guess, of the 3x scope. I really like it. And I guess one last thing that we are talking about here, actually 2 last things that we're talking about with the 3x scope, is one thing that hasn't been mentioned yet is you can actually do this. Wow, what do you know? Wow, it's a sniper rifle scope as well. So you can actually zoom in, downrange, put shots down there, and what do you know? Lo and behold, they're accurate. You can't even believe it, right? Well, it's actually pretty cool. So the 3x scope here is probably the first scope that I would consider. Before it was the 4x, right? Now you can consider sniping with a bolt-action rifle or even a marksman rifle much earlier as far as levels of magnification. You can now take a 3x scope and you can actually be effective, especially at mid to closer range with these sniper rifles. This is something that you really couldn't do before because 4x was still putting your gun really far down range, and that's something that wasn't always, the right situational use for it. Lastly, let's go ahead and take a look at something right here, and here we go. We will move on into a house. We're gonna simulate close quarter battle, right? We head into this house. What if there's a guy sitting in here waiting for us right here behind this wall? Crouched down, proning, whatever it happens to be, he's sitting right here waiting for us. When you come in with a 3x scope, rather than like say a 4x, right? Say this is all you have equipped and you come in and you scope in, this is super close, and when you fire, it jumps a little bit, right? It's not super dialed in, whereas the 3x, check out the recoil on this thing when you run in. You can literally just run around and laser people. I mean, it's like, look at the level of firing there. Crazy accurate as far as the 3x goes, although in close quarter battles, I would definitely recommend having a red dot on you before you enter a house to try to take it over. Throw on the red dot, even maybe consider going iron sights because, I mean, look at, it's so much easier. You can go hip fire, you can go iron sight, much better field of view, and you don't have to worry about some other people hopping out of a closet somewhere. The 3x scope, though, if you're absolutely stuck with it and it's on your gun, it's also not the worst thing in the world to have. I highly recommend it for stability's sake, but again, much better use for, mid-short to longer range on that weapon system. Much prefer a red dot in a house. Now it's time to take a look at the long range scopes. We're gonna be looking at the 4x, the 6x, and the 8x. Now let's go over to our sniper rifle system. We got the M24, and again, the 8x is the the sniper's scope of choice right now. That's the optics that you want if you really want to reach out and touch somebody. The 8X is what you're going for every single day of the week. That's kind of how we've been trained. That's what everybody's kind of used to. But let's hop over to the center of this particular, shooting range, and we will put our scope down range and take a look at what we see. So here it is. Here's the 8X, and again, pretty accurate. You can, reach out and hit targets at a distance. And then obviously, when we zoom in, we can also adjust this from 8X down to 4X. We can half the magnification of this particular scope, which is great. And again, 8X is pretty decent for hitting moving targets as well, predicting their, trajectory and putting shots on target. So, really like the 8X for that. There's a huge problem with it though. Let me show you guys. First off, there is no rangefinder, right? We can't determine how far a target is away simply by looking through this scope. That guy right out there, we have no idea how far that target is, with the exception of the fact that it does happen to say 300 meters on a sign. Well, you're not gonna get that luxury in the game. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 6X now and see how we can tell the distance from our target. Now, equally impressive as far as magnification, it gives you what you need to reach out and hit a target, right? But now, check out that last target out there. Notice the rangefinder here. You can actually put that rangefinder, which is the black hash marks in the low, if you put it at the sky, the lower left quadrant of this particular scope, you can see 300, 400, 500, 600, 800 meters. What that is the height of a human person. If it equals up to those hashes, like say, see that 300 meter guy out there? We'll put the 300 right there. Now, when it pops up, you're gonna see 300 meters. It's gonna be the exact height. Look at this. Now we know it's 300 meters away, which means we know where to put our reticle, which is about 1 hash higher than it needs to be. And as soon as this guy stops shooting my target, it's gonna pop up, and boom, headshot. That's exactly how you can tell the range of a target. Now, closer than that, you can see that this guy's obviously closer, much taller, and you don't need to compensate at all. You just kind of shoot and put it in somebody's head. There you go. So that's kind of a great feature of the 6X, but here is where it all differentiates for me. We're gonna start by looking at the 4X right now on the M24. 4X here, the level of magnification all the way out to that 300. I can't even read what that says. I don't know that it says 300. It's just a long way away. The reticle itself is actually pretty decent. I like the red on the cross there, but again, it's much harder to be accurate from super far away. You can see I'm hitting this target when it's not dropping. I've actually got the bullet hole in it. But yeah, the 4X, it doesn't render as far. You can see, look at the side of the 300 meter and the side of the 250 meter, and even the side of the 200 meter targets, there is no flipper target out on the right side. See this guy here, the one that I just shot? Watch what happens though when I put the 6X on to the M24. Here we go. Now we look down there, and we've got one from the 200, one from the 250, and if we move up just a little bit and zoom in, it's on the 300 as well. So a lot further render distance for the 6X scope, and obviously the magnification is better as well. So I highly prefer the 6X scope for your versatility. But again, I was talking about that deal breaker. For me, the 8x scope is not my favorite scope anymore when it comes to sniping. Yes, I can see this guy way out there. I can fire, I can hit him, whatever. But the problem is, what about the guy that's right here, right? What about this dude in my peripheral? When I'm zoomed in, I can't see all these guys running around. Whereas with a 6X, watch this. I put it right on, I'll zoom in, same spot. I can see a guy there. I know that he's right here and I can shoot him. Your peripheral is completely obscured with an 8X, completely. Whereas with a 6X, let me back up a little bit to hopefully illustrate this more. I can zoom in and look at how much I can see on the outside of my scope. Look at all these people. If I'm looking down range, I can see there's a guy setting up on me. I could see that there's a dude that could potentially pop out from this area here. I can watch more than one area with the 6X scope attached. And me, I want that versatility. I don't want somebody to be able to jump me from close range or to come out from behind a wall and shoot me, or to be able to line up, my God, the SLR is loud, or to be able to line up a shot on me where maybe I'm camped, looking at somebody. Maybe I'm peeking out behind a wall, I've got somebody dialed in, I'm looking, way out there, and maybe there's a guy set up on me up the hill, like up here, and I don't see him, right? Well, while I'm standing still, instead of, maybe I'm on target here, I can actually see the guy on the hill over here when I'm on my target. I can actually see that. Switch to him, fire, and it's all over with. So the 6X is the best of all worlds when it comes to versatility, range, magnification, render distance, range finding, all of it is included on the 6X scope, and that makes it the best sniper rifle scope in the game, better than even the 8X, and that is something that I'm willing to stand by. So what does my ideal loadout look like now, right? Let's get rid of the 2X here, let's get rid of the 8X, let's get rid of the 4X. It now looks something like this. The only change that I would make is I would pick up a red dot, which is found everywhere, early game, etc. You'll find red dots all over the place constantly, and a hollow sight is basically the same thing. No magnification, single dot reticle that you can use in close quarter combat. So this is what I'm running around with right here. Even if I, encounter somebody, say even this close a range, I mean, look at that recoil control. All at the head. This guy, I mean, that's pretty freaking good. Obviously, those guys would, be dead. But yeah, that's what I'm rocking is the 3X, right? If I do get into a close quarter battle situation before I go in, I'm throwing on the red dot. So when I breach this door, get into the house, and I see this guy, I'm like, oh crap, Obviously, I've got the red dot attached, and that's kind of where I'm going to go with it. Now, as far as the range stuff, I'm taking the 6X all day long. This is what I'm going to reach out, 300 meters and touch people with. Very effective, and, it's got the versatility to be able to see people that might be closing in. So I got this guy over here. Oh, yeah. You see that guy? Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. So guys, hopefully you've enjoyed the episode. Hopefully this gives you some, ammunition, I guess, to use as far as, like, what do I take? What's good? What's not? I think there is some debate to be had as far as the lower range scopes. I think you're not crazy if you take the 4 times over the 3 times. You're not crazy if you take the 2 times over the 3 times. But for me, the 3 times is extremely capable, very, very adept at recoil control, and it definitely gives you the range to reach out and do serious damage to somebody that has significant, advantages on you in optics. Like if somebody's got a 4X or an 8X, if you go at that person with a 2X or a red dot, you're done. You're just not going to land the shots. More often than not. I guess if the player's really bad at aiming, then yeah, you might have a shot. But for the most part, if they're decent and they've got a 4X or an 8X and you rock a 2 or a red dot, you're done. You're just not going to get the shots off. The 3X, I feel like, gives you a fighting chance. I really do. So, guys, enjoy it. Get out there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. This is meant to be kind of a healthy debate. I really think that, the 3X and 6X are very beneficial, valuable additions to the game, and for me, I've already converted both of those scopes. I'm looking for more so than any other. Guys, this is Powerbang signing out. I'll catch you all next time.